In this video, you're going to learn about a common application vulnerability called Insecure Direct Object Reference, or IDOR. I'll show you what it is, why it is a security risk, and most importantly, how you can protect yourself. To put it simply, an insecure direct object reference occurs when an application exposes sensitive data or functionality by referencing an internal object, such as a database record or a file without proper access control. When attackers exploit IDOR vulnerabilities, they can gain access to sensitive data, potentially modify critical information, or compromise the entire application. Imagine you have an e-commerce website and users are granted access to their shopping cart. In this scenario, a typical IDOR vulnerability would allow an attacker to view someone else's cart. Let me demonstrate this using the OWASP Juice Shop, which is an intentionally vulnerable web application that you can use to learn about many different application security risks. This is the shop where I can buy all sorts of juice. I'm already logged in and open my basket, which is empty. For a regular user, there's nothing special about this page, but an attacker might likely assume that each shopping basket is associated with some kind of an ID. To find this ID, they might start one of their automation tools, or maybe just the browser's native developer tools. Let's do this and have a look at the network traffic by reloading the page. Now look at this request to the API, including the basket and the number 6, which may be an actual ID. I'll open the response, and we can see that this looks like the basket information, including the likely basket ID, a user ID, and the list of products, which is empty. Now let's see if we can change the request. Let's set the basket ID to 5 and resend the request. Now look at this. We can access the basket of a different user with the user ID 16, and they seem to like raspberry juice and egg fruit juice. Now, this basket ID is an insecure direct object reference because it allows an attacker to retrieve other people's information by guessing their basket IDs. A seemingly easy fix might be to use more complex, hard-to-guess IDs like a UUID. But this would mean that the security of your application depends on secrecy or hidden aspects of the system. This is what security experts call security by obscurity and is considered weak and unreliable. Attackers can often discover obscured IDs through analysis or reverse engineering. So an IDOR vulnerability is not about the ID itself, it's a type of broken access control, one of the most common application security risks to date. To protect against this risk, it is important to implement robust authentication and authorization. This means in our example that the application should check if the basket's user ID is equal to the logged-in user's ID. I've cloned the repository and we're looking at the source of our basket API. As you can see, it simply retrieves the basket using whatever ID has been sent and then returns it to the client as a JSON object. What it doesn't do is check if the user that sent the request is also the owner of the basket. Let's fix this. First, we need to get the user ID. And then we need to check if the basket's user ID is the same as the current user's ID. If basket.userID doesn't equal the logged-in user's ID, we want to simply return a 403. Including the error message that the access has been denied. Otherwise, we can safely return the basket. To summarize, with this small authorization check, if the user doesn't own the basket, all they get is an access denied. This was just a simple example, but imagine this was a function that allows a user to change their password, and an attacker would be able to guess the admin ID and change their password, giving the attacker access to the entire system. The way to protect your app against this type of attack is to implement proper access control mechanisms, just like you've seen in the demo. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video and learned something new, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. See you in the next video.